guys, welcome back to ONECAST with me, Devito. Together talking here with me is Raymond, and today we're going to talk about an interesting thing. As we all know, we have lived in a world that is full of Netflix, iFlix, you name it. I guarantee that you all have at least used this streaming service once in your life. And well, sometimes people also go to the cinema like CGV or go to 21. And who doesn't like the vibe and aura of watching a movie firsthand at the most comfy place ever?
That is especially true, Devito. Even though you've never used streaming services before, ladies and gentlemen, chances are you are instead an avid visitor of a cinema, or instead you're a relic of the old times who used DVD players and Blu-rays.
Yes, and from what I know, there are still people who use DVDs and Blu-rays. What do you think about them, Raymond?
Regarding the streaming services, from what I actually see, there are lots of platforms in which people can watch movies and TV shows, right? So that is why in this episode of ONECAST episode 2, we are going to talk about these three platforms, which are streaming services, cinema, and DVDs and or Blu-rays.
So, to start, Raymond, are you an avid movie or TV show fan?
Now, to be actually honest, I don't really watch that many movies or TV shows actually. But if you were to ask me when is the last time I went to the cinema, look, I was invited by my friends to watch, I believe it was Mission Impossible, The Fallout, which is the 6th installment, I believe back then in 2018. That's a long time ago. I don't usually go to cinemas myself without a friend's invite, as you can see there. So yeah, that's from me. How about you, Devito?
I think my last time going to cinema was at the end of 2016. I watched Assassin's Creed, the movie. It was superb. I watched it with my family.
Whoa, that's interesting, and as you said, superb indeed. So Devito, why do you think streaming services such as iFlix, Netflix, Disney Plus, and so on are getting popular day by day?
Well, I think it's because using these streaming services are way more convenient than going to the cinema or buying DVDs. I mean, if you go to the cinema, you have to go to the cinema itself, then you have to wait to buy the tickets, you have to wait for your movie to start, and then go back to your house. And if you buy DVDs, it's the same. You also need to buy the DVD player, and you also have to go out there, go to the DVD store and buy the film DVDs that you want to watch. So I guess convenience really does matter a lot here.
Yes, I agree on that stance. Although, Devito, I don't really watch Netflix, I can see where you are coming from. And in my opinion, streaming services also offer more selection because they have all kinds of movies and TV shows from, say, the 1980s. You can watch classic, you can watch modern, like the new ones. You can watch anime, and you can watch reality shows. Not just the movie that are currently like a hit in the cinema, as we usually see in the cinemas right now.
Yeah, apart from that, I think the corona pandemic also plays a really big role in people's preferences nowadays.
Would you mind elaborating regarding the corona pandemic about that, Devito?
Well, because simply at the start of the pandemic, cinemas weren't allowed to operate. So naturally, people use streaming services more often. And because of this, they might feel perhaps lazy, maybe, to watch movies in the cinema again.
Well, yeah, Devito, that's especially true. I mean, for me personally, if we're talking about the pandemic, look, it's a massive action movie, adrenaline pumping, panic-inducing experience for you to go to a cinema. Like, in the cinema, you're being in a closed room, you're being with a bunch of strangers, and the fear of getting the virus yourself is actually really real. And yeah, other than that, streaming services, well, yeah, I believe we can say it for ourselves on how convenient it is on that matter.
So yeah, I guess you're correct. Streaming services are on the rise right now. However, Raymond, I think cinemas still have an appeal in their own way. Like, it's not that old to be called a nostalgic experience, nor that full of wishy-washy high technologies. Its experiences are still relevant for us.
Yes, Devito, I agree on that part. If we were to look at like a lot of people who are going to the cinemas that are still able to operate, cinemas still have their own places in other people's hearts,
Yeah, for me, watching movies in cinemas have a different feeling compared to watching movies with streaming services at your home. Like going to cinema, you're paying big bucks to actually watch the movie firsthand with many other excited people or excited film fans.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
Look, yes, as I said, I don't go to cinemas much, but I share the same opinion about you. Like the feeling that you're with your friends watching movie in the cinema, the fact that you personally know that you paid the tickets, that you paid the snacks, and like
Yeah.
you're basically watching with your friends in front of a really, really big screen, like in the cinema, like the feeling is hard to describe, and the feeling is quite simply unbeatable. It's superb. Also in cinemas, like do you know CGV, Dev? You know
Yeah, I
CGV
know that.
Blitz? Yeah, CGV actually offers like 3D glasses for the 3D effects, and they also offer like this very high technology like 4D surround sound or whatever it is, and yeah, they also offer. I believe CGV once offered like beds as seats. Am I right?
Yeah, I think I watch people using that, and while it's quite homey to say.
Yeah. We can agree on that.
Yeah, so for me, you cannot really compare the two of them because they both have their own advantages and disadvantages. We don't really know whether cinemas will be replaced completely by streaming services in the future. I guess it will depend on the people who are using these platforms. Anyway.
Yes, I agree with you, Defito. So yes, up until now we have only discussed streaming services and cinemas. There's actually another platform which has been a relic of the ages. This platform is really, really popular back in the days, and yeah, it comes in the form of DVDs and Blu-rays. Defito, have you ever had a DVD player at home, and do you have like a favorite movie or an experience using that DVD?
Yeah, I had one. My father bought it for ₱500,000. It was very convenient back into the 2010 standard when I usually just went to the morning market or to the night market and bought DVDs, cheap DVDs for like only 5,000 or 6,000 rupiah, and then I was very excited, hoping that when I went back to my home, the DVD wouldn't break up because it's so cheap, and it had a tendency to just break up when you were just on the verge of watching something very cool.
Whoa. Look, back in my day, it's instead of the CDs breaking down, the DVD players break down a lot in my house. Like look, I clearly remember having to switch like from this unit to another, from this unit to another, right? Yeah, that's really, yeah, it's a
It
massive
was a
pain.
very common problem, I think.
Yeah, it's a common problem. And yeah, I also vaguely remember watching like a lot of Doraemon and Bernard, like Bernard Bear, that big white dumb polar bear that does weird things and doesn't talk. Yeah, that one. And yeah, like for the standards like 2010, 2011, it's surprisingly convenient, though yeah, it's a massive waste of money on at least on my side, because I have to switch this, switch that, switch this, switch that.
Yeah, but I think compared to that age relative standards, I think it was a privilege to actually have those kind of things and to actually play it manually right in your front of the couch instead of just going to the cinemas and having to pay big bucks. I see. So the question here is that, do you think that there are still people who use DVDs and Blu-rays to watch movies?
We can clearly see that the popularity of DVDs and Blu-rays have gone down drastically due to the inconveniences that I have told you before. Now look, however, I'm sure that there are many people right now who don't have a DVD player in their house. Yeah. Naturally. But on the other side, I'm also sure that there's still people using them, such as collectors or simply people who are still interested in using the technologies, right? Some things will never be old if you're fond about it.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. I guess people have their own preferences, and it can be considered as a collection nowadays. Now, Raymond, do you know what movies are coming out in the near future?
I personally heard like there are movies such as Cruella, Spider-Man, like the next installation of Spider-Man, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, next there's like The Quiet Place 2, a horror movie. And like there's another Pixar film which I forgot the name. Yeah, and there's many more. That's all I remember actually.
Oh, okay. Are you interested in watching some of them?
Well, actually, I don't. I only watch them if my friends invite me, as I've told you before. And considering that the pandemic is on the rise, yeah, I won't even bother going to the cinema during these times, right? Well, yeah. How about you, Defito? Do you have a movie that you're interested in or you're currently watching?
You mentioned about the new Pixar film. I believe it was Luca, the boy who is living at Venice, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's going to be a massive hit. And well, let's just see.
Yeah, like every Pixar film is a massive hit. If we're statistically speaking, yeah, it's always a massive hit. And Devito, on the topic of streaming services, like look, they're impossibly convenient. They're just impossibly convenient currently. They're so easily accessible. You can just watch them while you're sleeping on your bed. You can bring them anywhere you want. And like, look, if we're to speak about the cost of cinemas and streaming services, look, for a month of subscription on a particular streaming services, you need about the price fluctuates around 1 or 2 cinema tickets, which is pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So that pretty much explains why the appeal on the community is just right. It's booming now. Streaming services are just booming.
Yeah, comparatively, you have the privilege to actually access all kind of the movies, all kind of the TV shows compared to going to the cinemas and only having the privilege to actually just watch one show. That's it. Well, that's cool, Raymond. So, that's folks, that marks the end of our podcast. We hope that this discussion has entertained you. Don't forget to actually follow Smokey Instagram account, SMUKIEE Instagram account, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Stay tuned and we will see you soon. Goodbye.
See you soon. Take care.